When thinking about unconditional love, we need to think as well about what gets in the way of unconditionally loving kids at times. We all acknowledge that unconditional love for children is often considered ideal, but there can be some factors and challenges that get in the way of achieving it. And I thought it wouldn't be fair to not mention what gets in the way of unconditional love. So I want to cover some of the common obstacles that impact unconditional positive love for our kids. So one of the big things that impact is our own unresolved personal issues. Some people do carry unresolved emotional baggage from their past, which can affect their ability to love unconditionally. If we have unaddressed traumas, insecurities, or unresolved conflicts, it can impact the way we relate to our kids and essentially can get in the way of effective parenting. The second thing that gets in the way of unconditionally loving, or that unconditional positive regard for our kids, is high expectations. Because unrealistic expectations regarding kids' behaviours or achievements, or even conformity to our desires, can lead to conditional love. And we don't want that love to be conditional. The stress of parenting, such as sleepless nights, financial pressures, and managing daily responsibilities, can strain our ability as a parent to provide unconditional love, because exhaustion and frustration can lead to impatience and irritability. Some parents just may not be fully aware of their own emotions and reactions. This lack of self-awareness can result in unconscious biases or triggers that interfere with our ability to love unconditionally, as can societal and cultural norms, whether that be pressure from families and friends, because this all influences our perceptions of what's normal or acceptable behaviour for kids. These external pressures can contribute to conditional love. Another thing that can impact on unconditionally loving our children is parenting styles, because how we parent actually affects how our love is expressed. So authoritarian parents, they're the sergeant majors, or overly permissive parents actually hinder the development of unconditional love, as they're either too controlling or too disengaged. So what we're doing in all of the work that we do together is we're striving for authoritative parenting. And that's the sort of parenting approach that I advocate in all of my conversations that I have with parents and in my online parenting courses. And those parenting courses can be really, really supportive if you're struggling as a parent, or if you just want some more tricks in your bag of tricks. Another thing that impacts on unconditional love, or another thing that gets in the way of unconditional love, can be sibling dynamics, because they also impact here. For some parents, the presence of other kids can really complicate unconditionally loving. And parents may unintentionally favour one child over another, or compare their children, and that leads to, of course, conditional love. Another thing that impacts is difficulty in managing our emotions, because it results in inconsistent or conditional expressions of love. So parents who struggle with emotional regulation may react impulsively to their kids' behaviour. If this is the case, that you experience these things, then just be aware of it and acknowledge that, and start to notice it in your parenting. And do remember that kids do go through various developmental stages that can really challenge our patience and our understanding, and it can be difficult to maintain unconditional love during challenging phases such as the terrible, or as I prefer to say, the terrific twos, the challenging 4-year-olds for our boys, or the teenage rebellious stage. So, to cultivate unconditional love for kids, parents and caregivers should work on their self-awareness, practice their empathy, seek support when needed, such as going through therapy or parenting classes or online courses that will help you. Manage our expectations and prioritize open and healthy communication with our kids. It's really important to remember that unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional approval of behavior, but rather an unwavering love and acceptance of the child as a person, even when their actions or choices may be disappointing or challenging to us parents.